Humans have long been fascinated by their origins. We wonder what life was like before written history, who our earliest ancestors were, and what their societies were like. But perhaps we are especially curious about the intimate lives of our earliest ancestors, and how they interacted with closely related species. So let's get into it. Around 200,000 years ago, Homo sapiens first appeared in Africa, living there exclusively for about 140,000 years, as they slowly developed unique traits and complex social behaviors, including those related to reproduction. Then, roughly 60,000 years ago, groups of these early humans began migrating out of Africa, journeying into new and challenging environments, where they encountered other hominins such as the Neanderthals, a species that had branched off from a common ancestor with modern humans, approximately 350,000 years earlier. Contrary to outdated stereotypes, Neanderthals were intelligent and culturally sophisticated, adapted to the cold climates of Europe and Western Asia. They lived in social groups, likely had language abilities, made and used tools, hunted animals, and cared for their sick and elderly. Evidence suggests they buried their dead, possibly with ritualistic practices, indicating a level of cognitive ability comparable to modern humans. So when Homo sapiens and Neanderthals met, it was not a meeting between primitive humans and brutish cavemen, as often portrayed. Instead, it was a meeting between two highly adapted, resourceful, and socially complex species with their own unique technologies, beliefs, and ways of life. And when these two groups encountered each other, something remarkable happened. Homo sapiens and the Neanderthals began to interbreed, producing children who were the first hybrid humans. It might seem surprising, but interbreeding wasn't uncommon among different hominin species. It wasn't as simple as us versus them back then. Different species often found ways to cooperate and reproduce together. And this mixing of genes across species is actually a big part of what makes us who we are today. In fact, genetic evidence shows that when Homo sapiens migrated out of Africa and met the Neanderthals, they didn't just have brief encounters. They formed intimate relationships that resulted in interbreeding. These trysts between members of different species led to the transfer of genetic material, contributing about 1 to 2% of DNA to non-African modern humans. This means that many people today can trace some of their ancestry back to these ancient unions. And it's not just an interesting fact from a biological perspective. These genes from Neanderthals have had real effects on our development and health. Some of these genes are still active in our bodies today, influencing things like our immune responses and even physical adaptations. For example, genes from Neanderthals may have played a role in how our skin and hair develop, helping us adapt to the different climates around the world. This is a pretty cool example of how genetics don't always follow neat lines. Our species isn't just a straight line from past to present, it's a rich tapestry woven with contributions from many ancient relatives. And these genes aren't just remnants of the past. They're an active part of what makes us us. But the story doesn't end with the Neanderthals. Early humans didn't just mingle with one ancient relative. They had trysts with other mysterious groups as well, one of which is known as the Denisovans. The Denisovans are another group of extinct archaic humans who lived in Asia, like the Neanderthals. They share a common ancestor with us, but split off earlier, making them more distantly related. However, this didn't stop early humans from forming intimate connections with the Denisovans, resulting in the exchange of genetic material. In fact, some populations of early humans interbred with the Denisovans more than once, adding layers of complexity to our genetic makeup. This mixing of genes wasn't just a random occurrence. It reflects a web of interactions and exchanges that took place between different hominin groups over a long period of time. The reason why so much mingling happened might be simpler than you think. It probably came down to basic biology. During the times when these species lived, there weren't really dedicated dating apps or marriage customs. Mating was a bit more direct. Males would often compete for the attention of females, showcasing their strength and desirability. The most successful males would get the opportunity to pass on their genes. But sometimes females would make their own choices and partners. This is called female choice, and it's a big part of sexual selection. Females might choose mates based on certain traits or behaviors, like how well they can provide for offspring, or how healthy they appear. This preference can drive the evolution of traits within a population, meaning that over time, individuals with certain traits become more common, if those traits are seen as desirable by the females. To better understand this process, let's look at a bird called the zebra finch. Male zebra finches often sing to attract mates, and the females tend to prefer songs with higher frequency. Over time, this preference has led to a change in the songs of male zebra finches. Those who sing higher-pitched songs are more likely to get chosen, so their genes, including their song-related genes, are passed on more often. This is an example of how sexual selection can shape evolution. Now imagine if a male from a different finch species with lower-pitched song were to join the zebra finch group. If the females started choosing this lower-pitched song as the new standard, it would again shift the preferred trait and could eventually lead to the evolution of a new trait within the zebra finch population. This is similar to what may have happened when different hominin groups interbred. As new traits in genes were introduced through interbreeding, it's possible that sexual selection favored certain combinations of genes, leading to the evolution of new traits in the gene pool of early humans. Now, scientists piece together these ancient mating systems, social bonds, and cultural practices by studying a variety of evidence left behind by our ancestors. Fossils, for example, can provide insights into physical traits and potential signs of sexual selection. By examining skeletal remains, scientists can identify features that might have been important for attracting mates or defending against rivals. Meanwhile, archaeological sites can offer clues about social interactions and cultural norms. For instance, the discovery of ornaments or objects that might have been used in courtship rituals provides a window into the symbolic behaviors of these ancient populations. And by comparing these early humans to modern primates, scientists can learn about the role of sexuality and social behavior in their societies. Studying primates can shed light on the importance of displays of strength, dominance, hierarchies, and the use of space in mating rituals. But understanding ancient sex lives isn't just about satisfying our curiosity. It's an essential part of understanding human evolution. It helps us explore the complexities of our past and the forces that shaped our species. It also challenges us to reconsider traditional narratives about human history and the factors that have influenced our development. Take, for example, the idea that humans are fundamentally different from other animals. By studying the intimate relationships and mating behaviors of early humans, we discover the extent to which we shared similar desires, needs, and practices with our primate cousins. This blurs the lines between humans and other animals, reminding us of the biological realities that connect us all. And as we continue to unearth more secrets about our ancient ancestors, we can expect even more surprises. New discoveries might rewrite our understanding of early human societies and the roles that sex and relationships played in their evolution. Perhaps we'll find evidence of more complex social structures or uncover new details about the cultural significance of sexuality in these societies. So here's to the curious minds who've pondered the intimate lives of our ancestors and the scientists who continue to unravel the mysteries of our past. Together, we're on a journey to discover what it means to be human and the forces that have shaped our existence from the beginning. Sex and sexuality aren't just biological functions. They're integral parts of what makes us human. They've influenced our evolution, shaped our societies, and inspired countless stories, works of art, and scientific inquiries. Understanding the history of sex and sexuality, especially in the context of human evolution, gives us a deeper appreciation for the complexities of our nature. It reminds us that we are not isolated individuals, but rather part of an intricate web of life. We are connected to our ancestors by invisible threads of biology, behavior, and culture, and by exploring their intimate lives, we come to understand ourselves better. Thanks for watching.